And the one thing, Mike, that I'll say too is I really only substantially hear Denver. I again, not to say that I know Tennessee might be a thing and Pittsburgh might be a thing. Yeah, I hear those rumors. But from people I know or at least trust around the situation a little bit, Denver always seems to be the team that pops up, front and center as far as like candidate number one. And in my mind, and at least just connecting dots, I got to think it's right now, Denver, Green Bay, and some other teams on the side kind of just hanging there lurking. But I got to think it's those two.
Denver is the team that we all settled on when the fire first broke out the day of the draft last year.
Right.
When we heard, and it was our good friend Paul Allen of KFAN and the voice of the Minnesota Vikings who dropped that specific item into the Punch Bowl the day of the draft, that there was an effort to trade Aaron Rodgers to the 49ers, initiated by Rodgers, and the Packers slammed the door on it. That kicked into overdrive, and then it sparked, like there was one report after another, and it reached this critical mass where there was a question as the draft began. Yeah. It was perfect for the NFL, because as the draft began, there was a question as to whether we were going to hear the commissioner walk to the podium and say there's been a trade of the Broncos' top 10 pick in the draft to the Packers for Aaron Rodgers. Like, that's how quickly it all accelerated. So the Broncos have been the team we've been watching. And here the Broncos are with Nathaniel Hackett, former Packers offensive coordinator, now the head coach. All the pieces in place except a quarterback. George Payton, the GM of the Broncos, telling us last week at the scouting combine, on a scale of 1 to 10, the urgency to address the quarterback position is at 10. Obviously, they're looking at Aaron Rodgers, and he would be, if we have points bet odds, and if we don't, we can maybe ask for them, because they've been good about that in the past, where we ask for some specific prop and they'll come up with something. The Broncos have to be first. But, Chris, the Steelers fascinate me as well.
I know.
Because if I'm Rodgers, I'm probably more intrigued about playing for Pittsburgh now than playing for the Broncos. Although I don't know anybody there.
Right.
The whole Mike Tomlin, the knowing looks they shared, and what a great organization it is, and he walks through the door and all of a sudden they're an AFC contender. I think the Steelers are more of a contender immediately with Aaron Rodgers than the Broncos are immediately with Aaron Rodgers, because the Steelers are in a better position to win their division with Aaron Rodgers.
Well, sir, I mean, listen, it's Pittsburgh and Green Bay. It's the same team. I feel like they're the same version of each other, except one's in the AFC, one's in the NFC. It's this great national following, the tradition, right? I mean, it's where football started. I mean, when you think about the NFL and football, you think of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Green Bay Packers. So from that standpoint, yes. But Mike, to me, like and I'd love to see it. I really would. I feel like there's actually more questions in Pittsburgh, though, as far as what might be surrounding Aaron Rodgers, than I would in Denver. Hey, there is offensive line issues in Pittsburgh. We know that's got to get figured out. And a system and a system, on the offensive side of the ball that I'm not so sure, Aaron Rodgers is familiar with. So I look at those two things and go, those are strike one and strike two against Pittsburgh. And as we've talked about before, I feel like Rodgers' comfort is going to be, paramount to if he can make the move. And then there is in Denver, this guy, Nathaniel Hackett, who the last year and a half, all we heard about was how much Rodgers and him get along and love each other. It's all we've heard. And then you look at Denver, their offense and their team a little bit, and I think they're more well set up to, propel Aaron Rodgers up to make him look like he's still, the man, the myth, the legend there in Denver too. Just with, as we've talked about, it's good tight ends. It's really good receivers. They're young. He can kind of mold them. He's going to be able to teach them the system with Nathaniel Hackett. They got a good running back, Javonte Williams out of North Carolina. Offensive line is certainly good. Not going to say it's great, but it's better than Pittsburgh. Not quite as good as his one in Green Bay. To me, that's still the thing with Aaron Rodgers. You've said it so many times. He's a guy that needs some massaging a little bit. Needs to feel like he's comfortable and being heard and all that. And that's where I just go, I don't know if I can see him going to Pittsburgh, and it's just as much as he might respect Mike Tomlin, it's Mike Tomlin's way and the Pittsburgh way, and here it is. Where in Denver, we might be able to get a little of the Aaron Rodgers Green Bay way, infused with Nathaniel Hackett, and I think that's going to appeal to him a lot.
We have seen Ben Roethlisberger in recent years do whatever the hell he wants at the line of scrimmage, though, and on those RPO
you're
plays,
right.
pass a lot of times when he should have handed the ball off. So there is the ability for the quarterback to kind of take charge. But it's a little clunkier than if you go to a place where a guy you've worked with is taking over and putting your system in place. So there's wisdom to that. As it relates to the Steelers, because it's out of character for them to make a move like this. It really is. But there have been some metrics that have emerged in the aftermath of the 2021 season that should be troubling to the Steelers. Local viewership down 10% from 2020 to 2021. Now, I know in 2020 they started 11-0, but still, it's the Steelers. 10% loss in local TV viewership
I don't even
for the
get
Steelers.
That. I'm shocked.
Yeah, and no shows up 8,000 on average per game, where people have tickets but they don't go. So if you're the Steelers, you gotta think about, okay, is Mason Rudolph or Aaron Rodgers? I mean, Mason Rudolph or anybody. I hate to crap on Mason Rudolph, but come on, folks, we've seen enough from Mason Rudolph. I don't know how many different ways we can say that, but it would be different for the Steelers to make this kind of move, and it would be stunning if it happened. And the Broncos make the most sense. I think we all agree that the main alternative to Green Bay is Denver.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.